Welcome to KGV Football Park for this Saturday afternoon NPL round 14 matchup between the Glenorchy Knights and the Devonport Strikers. As we have a look at the pitch out there, it's looking pretty good weather here today for football. Slightly overcast skies, but none of that sidewards rain we experienced at one point on like a Seljuk Cup final day on Monday. And we have a look there at the table. It's Devonport on top with 31 points. Knights here today, despite the goal difference gap, they can tie level with Zebras in 4th spot. And that's probably a really good effort. They're building into the season. Coach James Sherman, I think, in the pre-season said it would take a little while for his side to adapt from championship football towards NPL TAS football. It's taken that time, but they've had a few wins so far, Jacob. Devonport will be looking to go further ahead as I turn to my right, my colleague for this afternoon, Jacob Dool. What do you make of that table and how the season's gone so far? We're nearly at the halfway mark.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Getting to that point where we can start to draw some more concrete conclusions, isn't it? And I think at that important time of the season, as you say, Glenorchy have really found a bit of form and rounded into things nicely. It was a bit hard to know what to expect of them coming back up from the championship, but they've made a good fist of it, and they've kept themselves in the frame for potentially a final spot.
Yeah, they certainly have. Just to confirm, Paul Hunt on the microphone here. No Andrew Cooling on this stream today. He's out at Warrior Park on vlog duty, so we're here today. Got to put up with us and not the voice of Tasmanian football, Andrew Cooling, today nonetheless. And last night's result, Kingborough with that big win over the Hobart Zebras, propelling them back into that sort of really jam-packed mid-table area. Zebras on 20, Knights 17, Kingborough 16, Lonnie City 15. And then Devonport looking to extend that lead at the top. They have that game in hand at the moment on the Warriors, so they can go use that to go 5 points in front with a game against the Warriors, I think either next week or the weekend after up at Valley Road. That is going to be a huge contest there for that one. And so far today we have a look at the Knights' recent form. Obviously that big win over Clarence. A good win over Riverside Olympic. The one against the Warriors, there was a really close-fought game there in April. It feels like an absolute eternity ago. The Knights, they did have that big stretch, as you can see, with nearly a month without play. The 2-2 draw with Zebras. Olympia, that game was at North Hobart Oval. They were just a little bit flat and a little bit overrun there. I think Jack Ryan just put it into the heart of the defence, and then the 1-0 smash and grab, really, of Launceston City last week. An absolutely superb away performance that you would want there. So, as we've seen, Jay, really a mixed bag so far this season, the Knights.
Yeah, which I guess is what you expect from a team like this coming back up. But some really key results in there, like that win against Clarence. They needed the goal difference there. And if they can keep on pushing on with some results like that, yeah, they're in a place where they could potentially move past a team like the Zebras, who, I'm being honest, looked pretty ordinary last night, so it's hard to know what to expect.
Yeah, you're a bit better to gauge last night's game than myself. I've only seen the goals and the post-match as we go towards Devonport. Yeah, latest form, obviously, on top of the table. You expect a few more in the W column, and there they are indeed. But again, not a lot of football since April, really. Just the 3 NPL games for them. There's the win down. That big win over at Olympia that Sunday afternoon. That was a huge contest. Just managed to sneak home on that occasion, get those crucial away wins. They really make Valley Road a fortress, do the Strikers. They've got a 4 home game run coming up within the next 6 weeks, and that'll be a huge one for them there. And then one blot on their copybook so far this season against the Hobart Zebras. It was out here at KG5 from memory. We did that game here on Slice of Cheese. Devonport need to build into this season, really continue their good form. Can't be too, I guess, from this point of the season onwards, Jacob, just will Monday's game be a turning point, or will they stay on the right trajectory, if I could talk?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see today whether they take that loss on Monday and whether it deflates them a little bit, or whether they really fired up to bounce back in the right way. I think with a team as good as Devonport, you'd expect them to really use it as a bit of a bit of motivation and move in the right direction. But it's a funny game sometimes. You never know what a loss like that might do to a team. So this will be our first look at it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. The FFA Cup, a big carrot in Tasmanian football going around, as we'll have a look at today's lineups. Enough about the past, on with the present. Glenorchy Knights lineup here for you today. Ryan Backhouse just moved across from the Zebras before the end of the transfer deadline the other week. Alessandro Bellini, he'll be in centre midfield. And then for the first time this season, both Brown brothers in the starting lineup. Callum and Declan. Would have happened last week, one floored by a university exam on that occasion, but they absolutely tore up the championship last season, did those two, and in combination it's going to be a really devastating effect, and something that none of the opposition in the NPL have had to deal with directly. So we'll see how Devonport deal with that on this occasion. The American Diego Gutierrez Chavez, hopefully any of the night owls in America, as he alluded to on Facebook today, watching there. So hello out there to our American viewers. In defence, you'll see Lockie Hardwick and Tyler Harrison. Samuel James, the real utility of this lineup. He's been played in many different spots so far this season. And then the main fight for position within that starting 11. Goalkeeper, not what you usually see here. They've used 3 already so far the Knights, but Dimmy Nestor seems to have come out as the number 1 for most of this season. He'll be in net, as we're watching him exchange passes in the foreground, and then also making up the defence, Matthias Toghill, the Sean Toghill battle. I still can't quite see him around at the moment. The long-ending battle of where his father will support so far this season still going. Thomas Young, good to see him back in the lineup as well. On the bench, Lockie Hart, Rowan Heggie, Nick Naden, who's been a really, really good player for the Knights so far this season. Someone has to drop out with the Brown brothers coming in. It's Naden, Matthew Nowicki and Jake Stewart. A pretty strong lineup, Jake.
Yeah, and a bit of depth there, as you say. When you're dropping out quality players onto the bench, I think that's always a good sign that you're moving in the right direction.
Indeed, as will. The players are just starting to line up here. The usual few-minute delay here on an NPL fixture, unsurprising. As we'll go through to Devonport's lineup. Their one change just coming off the top there. Miles, the Fox in the box, Barnard, only brought on about the 84th minute on Monday. He'll have some fresh legs to inject into this side. Maybe a question mark over putting him in a bit too late on that occasion, but he can make his mark today, coming in for the suspended Daniel Syson. The rest of the strikers line up as they were on Monday, and as they have been for the majority of the season. Eddie Bidwell, Max Fitzgerald dominating the wings. Ignacio Giampoli and Todd Hingston in the centre of the park. Captain Fantastic, Kieran Mulraney. Connor Park out at right back. Nathan Pitchford. A joke about pitch perfect 3, I think, could also relate to the NPL season as well as his cup form. He's been absolutely fantastic. The import Raph Reynolds, Dom Smith, and then the mercurial Joel Stone, who's been in scintillating form in patches so far this season. We'll see if that can continue. And then on the bench, Toby Barton was ineligible for the cup games, which is why we haven't seen a lot of him, but he came on over at the Olympia game at Jack Dance and Kynham West, bringing 3 down the strikers. And look, it's a pretty tried and tested team, this one, Dooley, and we'll see if the cohesion will play well today. Yeah,
we pretty much know what to expect from this group by now, don't we? And it's normally pretty good as well. So you'd expect them to come away with a win here, I think, but this Glenorchy team could give them a real run, hopefully, and make it interesting.
Yeah, I think that double Brown factor will be very interesting. Connor Park and Dom Smith will have their hands full this afternoon when they're spraying out into the wings, but they came up against some pretty good wing play themselves on Sunday night, Monday night, I should say, with South Hobart coming out victorious. A congratulation is in order for them on this. South Hobart representing Tasmania in the FFA Cup. The draw coming out at the end of the month, all waiting with anticipation. Whilst not the subject of today's game, Dooley, who would you like to see South Hobart draw?
Oh, look, I
think you could pick one.
It's a tough one. I think it'd be good for Tasmania and good for them if they play an A-League team. I know it's not the best way for them to move forward in the competition, probably, but just the exposure you get from that and the experience for some of those young players, especially South Hobart. They've got so many talented young players in there. I think that could be really a good experience for them to kick on and move forward with their careers.
Yeah, my only condition is a home tie.
That would be better as well.
We haven't had a whole lot of luck of late with that. Devonport playing 2 games last season, both in Melbourne. And also maybe not another NPL Victoria team. Quite like the competition over there in Victoria, but we've had Bentley, we've had Avondale, we've had Northcote, we've seen plenty of them. But now with the here and now, it'll be the Strikers up against the Knights. Just looking over to the other side of the grandstand, their former coach Chris Gallo in attendance as well, who's come back down. His former side, the Mackay and Whitsunday Magpies Crusaders United, the greatest team name in Australian football, making it through the FFA Cup as well. But he's now firmly back in Tasmania's hands, and we're more than thankful to have him back. As our referee, Brenton Copra, blows the whistle. Well, he's about to. Sold me the dummy there, did Copra, and we're underway here this afternoon. Immediately back to Harrison. Gutierrez Chavez getting muscled off the ball by Max Fitzgerald, opting for the gloves here this afternoon, given it was about 10 degrees colder on Lacus Seljuk Cup final night. It's a curious fashion choice as Raph Reynolds really runs into some trouble. Hingston nearly towards Stone. Toghill spraying out wide to Brown. Oh, the Knights, maybe that cohesion is maybe what we might be, lack of cohesion might just be an issue today as Harrison strides forward, fouled by Stone, advantage played. Brown in the box, Bellini waiting in the middle, still going, Brown, sea of legs. Eventually blocks that from the Strikers. Soon to fall out of play, no, kept in, it's James. Given away to Stone with a lovely move to get around Thomas Young, chipped over the back. Gutierrez, Chavez manages to clear. Backhouse couldn't get that one under control. Stone, good tempo to start this one. Bidwell goes the chip towards the back post, off the post from Eddie Bidwell. Eventually cleared from Toghill. Well, last night, Jacob, I noticed in your blog you said there weren't a whole lot of chances in the first 15 minutes. We've had 2 in a minute and 20.
Yeah, I reckon this is more in the first minute than we had in the first half hour last night, honestly, and I'm not going to complain about that either. This is a good pace to start off. I'm happy with this.
It's a great pace. You saw that block and the initial shot from Brown jinking inside, and Bidwell, he did the right thing trying to come over the out-rushing Nestor. He wasn't going to get to the ball. First was the keeper, and good sightings on goal for both sides as Mulroney next out to Giampoli. Tom Smith back to the mercurial Argentinian. He's been quite the figure here in Tasmanian football over the last month after his incident with Jaden Hay, but he's got some absolutely fantastic skills on the ball and in tight areas. Does Giampoli as Park intercepted by James. And just looking at the Knights, it seems to be got Alessandro Bellini playing up top. We usually see him in midfield. I've seen a fair bit of Bellini over the last few years. Haven't seen him play as a striker a whole lot. And we'll see how that goes as Brown doesn't header that one, but Young thumps it high. Reynolds and the unintentional flick on to Backhouse. Tries to centre it towards the back post, and again 2 Knights players collide. It'll be Smith. Out to Fitzgerald. Tries to chip to get round Toghill. He's seen that trick a fair few times. Harrison. Brown and Chavez. Good triangle passing there from the Knights. Now it is King Leonidas. Sells his teammate a bit short there, and Brown could be in on this occasion. Cleared out as far as Backhouse. Now to Bellini. Bellini centres. Brown gets the touch to it. I think he's conceded the goal kick there, and he has. Again, just reintegrating very good tempo to this matchup this afternoon.
Yeah, and Callum Brown early hasn't quite gotten his shots away so far, but he's really hitting some good areas, I think. And once those touches start to come in, he could be in for a good chance here. Yeah, I think he can. I really trying to call them Brown at all possible occasions. I got caught out a fair few times last year. The couple of championship games we did is Eddie Bidwell showing a bit of techers there in the middle of the park, and now Bellini going the nutmeg. Good through ball. In the end finds Backhouse. Backhouse on the left foot. It's comfortable for Nathan Pitchford. Some good individual skill on display here so far. There's Fitzgerald. I'll say hacked down from Toghill there, just to be polite. Wasn't the greatest challenge from Togsy.
Devonport coming out to this one pretty much as expected. We did see Giampoli play as a false 9 on Monday. He's returned to his more customary centre midfield role. And the Fox in the box is up top. That one was in his direction, but hit short. Reynolds. It's a little bit of a stray elbow from Backhouse in the end, just falling over it. An inopportune moment was Brown, of the Callum variety. Well, Fitzgerald wanted to play the 1-2, but Chavez read that one like a book. Chavez with a lovely culture ball out to Brown. Tries to take on Parks, but Brown with a shot, good save. Pitchford was at a very good height there for the keeper, right at him. Stood his ground well, Pitchford. And then the Knights, believe, will win the first corner of the game, I think. Yep.
Yep, first one of the day. And you have to say they've deserved it so far. They've made most of the forward running here.
Absolutely. It keeps getting I can ask you rather than just awkwardly look over the shoulder like I have been the last 12 weeks.
Makes it a little bit easier.
You can hear the responses. There's a good crowd mulling over in the wet area. Behind this end is Brown. Goes towards the near post. He's missed it. Tyler Harrison. Well, he's peeled off the goalkeeper well there in the 6-yard box. Tried to glance it in the back post. I'd say that's probably the Knights' best chance of the game so far, Dooley.
I think so. Even though he didn't get anything on it, he was definitely in the right spot. And just with the extra pace on that corner, he looked like he couldn't quite judge it right.
It's almost like the corner had too much pace on it, which is not usually something you tend to worry about, especially with headers. It just allows you to glance it and not have to generate any power. But I think on that occasion, it may just have. As Hitchford will size up this goal kick. Doesn't have a lot of options short. Does Pitchy. So on this occasion he'll go along. Barnard's peeled off to win the flick on. Goes to Fitzgerald. Giampoli to Chavez. Falls to Bellini. Now Declan Brown. Wants to go the switch. He just held on it too long. Strikers getting back in good pace. Now Hingston. Just sell Chavez a merry dance. Stones drop very deep to try and get his foot on the ball here. Now he's got some space to run into, but takes almost like a gymnastic floor routine tumble on the centre of KG5. Good ball forward from Young. He's playing in a more advanced role here today. Thomas Young, we saw him at centre-back to start the season. I think when he was out at Taroona, he did used to play a bit further forward of the park, if memory serves me correct. Tolkiel puts his hand up in the air immediately for that one. But just mixing it up a bit today, the Knights. James, who's played centimetres at left back. Hardwick at centre back. We've seen him there in a more emergency capacity over the course of this season. But not a whole lot in there today as Bellini with a lovely little flick. Declan Brown with a lovely turn. Out to Callum Brown. Good control from him, but the pass wasn't quite as good. Clearance hoiked away. James to Brown, trying to go around Park and does so again. Brown went the low cross, well blocked from Reynolds in the end, affording him an applause from the home end, where sausage sizzle over there in the far corner of the shed is making me very hungry.
That's going to be the half-time stop-off, is it, for us?
Oh, it definitely is.
It's right in our line of sight, isn't it? Can't look away from it.
I have to stare at that every single corner too. And see what the Knights can do from the aforementioned set piece. Go towards the back post. Harrison again rising high. Brown wanted to curl that one to the back post and instead curls it higher for a goal kick. But the delivery from the corners so far today been really impressive from the Knights. Launched downfield, Tolkiel rising high. Let's call Brown's name a fair bit today, and Park manages to intercept. James. Good turn there from Callum. James under pressure from Bidwell, and it's turned over. Barnard wants to play the return ball. In the box, streaming forward is Fitzgerald. It's in that direction. But Nesta just gets a hand on it. It was a great counter-attack from the Strikers, Dooley, and Fitzgerald not far away at all.
Yeah, and that's where playing a team like the Strikers is dangerous. Even if you can get the upper hand across the park, only takes one quick breakaway and they could be in on goal pretty easily.
Certainly could, as now Fitzgerald trying to dance with the opposition. Champoli with the completely misplaced back heel. Hingston. Oh, fall fortuitously to Champoli. Controls it well. Fitzgerald in the box. Fitzgerald, good save. Nesta. Another good sider for the opposition keeper this time. Almost a carbon copy of Brown's shot about 5 minutes ago. A good height. Oh, wheel away for the Strikers. First corner of the match. Good power from Fitzgerald on that occasion. Statsman Benjamin Smith just boneheading the back of that corner. Goes towards the near post. Barnard nearly with the flick. Hardwick dumps clear. For those watching out there on YouTube, I'm more of a barbecue sauce man if I'm having a sauce on my snag. I know tomato's the more traditional.
I 100% agree with you on that. Not even a question for me.
That is why we enjoy having you here in the Slice of Cheese commentary box, Dolly. This Fitzgerald knocks it back to Hingston. Haven't been able to switch the ball much today so far, have the Strikers, but they don't need to, and Hingston can do that. Fitzgerald, Barnard cleared by James. Still got plenty of numbers back to the Strikers. The Knights with a lovely nutmeg on Hingston down the roller coaster as well. Bellini, the Magic Man, bringing out all the tricks so far here in the first half. I feel like I'm watching a trick competition here rather than an outdoor 90-minute game. As Brown intercepts Bellini. Rolling that one. Look at that from Alessandro Bellini. This is delightful football here. And KG5 running in as Brown. Reynolds does just enough body. Some half-hearted appeals from the Knights fans' end. All to no avail. There's been some lovely bit of trickery here. Look at that nutmeg. Sung him completely down the river. Did Bellini. As the throw-in will go the Knights' way. Maybe this move to put Bellini up top and just dropping off, probably realising with no Lazinski available, probably couldn't quite work the body. And I think Nowicki, they played up at Valley Road earlier this season, which is another Slice of Cheese stream game, and Nowicki was probably the best player on the park for the Knights in their convincing loss, but he just had it all to do, battled well. Maybe Coach James Sherman just trying to avoid that on this occasion. It's Barnard. That's a roll. Hardwick lets it bounce. Headed away by Young. James. And the karate kick. Just running out of real estate is Brown. Bidwell. It's all getting very tight down there on this occasion. As the artificial lights come on here already in this overcast day. Throw in by James, push in the back, surely, from Backhouse.
I think that's a nice, easy call there early on.
Yeah, that one didn't take much thinking at all. I'd be curious to know if he wasn't getting a whole lot of opportunities with the Zebras earlier in the season. They could maybe use with him at the moment, but he's elected to go across to the Knights. Good run from Stone being made here. Reynolds choosing to ignore it. Goes to Park instead. Tried the inside ball to Giampoli. Hardwick will clear. The shorter centre-backs in the league is Hardwick. Barnard will certainly have the height advantage over him if necessary. That's not the greatest touch from Eddie Bidwell.
I thought that free kick for the Strikers might get us out of this corner that they've become locked into, but looks like we're just going further and further back there, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe the crossfield switch or rising it to Barnard would have been the best option. Maybe now they'll try to switch it, and they do indeed. Backhouse just trips on it, and the opposite number 6 gets in Giampoli. Fitzgerald. Maxie Fitzgerald going to run at the defence. Toghill stands tall. Got clipped on the way. Trailing stud. And that'll relieve some pressure on the Knights. Devonport seems to be similar to that game they played against the Zebras here. That's, well, 5 games ago, but it was actually about 8 weeks ago. The first 10 minutes, they were a bit slow out of the gate. And then they gradually warmed into it and had very much the better of the next 80 minutes. But the Knights are up for this contest here as Brown. Running at the defence is Callum Brown. Drops in a step over, Jinks inside. To Declan Brown, Bellini. Young, not quite on the same wavelength, and that's about a metre from said barbecue. Always got to have your eyes on the game. There's Callum Brown will take the corner towards the back post. Pitchford underneath it, rises high to punch clear. Return ball coming in, will go over the head of Backhouse. Reynolds gives it a bit of extra juice. And Bidwell wins his team the throw in. It's Park will come across to take. Header by Chavez. Champali. Hingston. Bidwell stayed onside. Falls to Stone. Young. As far as Dom Smith. Fitzgerald battling away with Toggill. That's really sizing up. It's one of the battles within the game. There's Brown. Backhouse wanted the 1-2. Hingston has seen that trick a few times in his career. Now back to Young. Time to get his head up. Only hits it as far as Stone. Fitzgerald, I think, is just straight offside. Indeed, the flag has gone up. Didn't end up making a play on it, so play will continue. Park as far as Bidwell. Will now try to get his own ball and keeps it in. Does Eddie Bidwell. Unfortunately not on the same wavelength with Barnard. And Park to Stone. Now Stone turning and dancing. Flicked over the top. Bidwell stayed onside here. Eddie Bidwell to the Fox, but well cleared from Harrison. James will eventually go out. There's another question coming on YouTube. Max Fitzgerald on about 5 goals so far this season. As we look at that promising cross into the box. We'll probably have a few more assists than goals so far this season with Fitzgerald, I'd imagine.
I think he's been involved in just about every goal I've seen them score this year.
Yeah, also scored a pretty pivotal goal in the Cup as well down at Kingborough. Help them get to the Lacus Seljet Cup final. Into the box, Jampali, Park, low ball cleared by Hardwick. Young prevents the corner. Bidwell, Hingston. Sees eyes light up there for a moment from the big fella. Smith sells him short. Does just enough Hingston to retrieve the ball for his side. Stone wants the free kick. He went down a tad easy. I think with the Knights the last 8 to 10 minutes, I reckon, Dooley, is when they're under pressure, they're trying to play it out from the back and they get about one pass and turn it over. Yeah,
they look pretty good when they can just get possession a bit further up the field, but when Devonport have the chance to press them a bit deeper, they're certainly not looking comfortable.
Just that first pass out from the back. It's looking a bit tricky as Harrison's going to be put under some pressure. Resorts to the heave-ho. Toghill. If he made full connection with that, that probably would have ended up over the grandstand on this side of the ground. Hingston. Back to Raph Reynolds. Tom Smith hasn't seen a lot of the ball in a possession standpoint so far, but he finds Barnard well. Now Fitzgerald has Bidwell over on the far post if he can get it there. Goes back to Giampoli. Hingston scrapping away with Brown. In the end, King Leonidas comes out strong. Giampoli wants to run at the defence, has Stone available. Joel Stone. Well, he's got time to size up and shoot his Stone, but lays out to Bidwell. Fitzgerald lurking at the back post. Eddie Bidwell hits it straight at the keeper. The Strikers now getting in this sort of area where they're getting permanent half chances so far, and the Knights, as we were talking about before, do it, make that 2 pass and then it's given away again.
Yep, that's pretty much spot on there, isn't it? Maybe got 1 extra ball in before turning it over, but didn't make much more progress.
Gradual improvement as that one will fall over to Barnard. Flicks it on to Bidwell. He's going to do well to get back in the box. Here's the Fox. Fitzgerald. Stone now coming in late. Bidwell do enough to win the corner kick. 20 minutes gone here at KG5. No goals as of yet, but not short on skill, as we've seen with Bellini and Stone. And Brown as well. And will be Stone to take this corner kick. No Raph Reynolds, no centre-backs on corner duties today, it would seem. Instead, they go the short corner. Stone manages to get it in after some trickery, but eventually cleared. That's another no for the short corner routine. Bidwell being forced to chase by Brown here, and he's got the ball. Callum ready, do well to go himself. Brown against Bidwell. The Knights ahead. Bidwell was left all exposed from that corner. And the sheer pace of Callum Brown. And his 2nd game for the season was the one-on-one with Pitchford. Look at that nice part of the side netting there he had to aim for. And he's put the Knights 1-0 ahead.
I think you summed it up nicely there. That was just pace, wasn't it? Pure pace on that chase down at the long ball to win it away from the defender and then keep in front of the defence as he went in towards the keeper. And a classy finish as well at the end of it. Very
classy from Callum Brown. And I mean, I was sort of half joking by saying that's a bad one for the short corner routine, but it's now a definite bad one.
Looks a lot worse all of a sudden.
Looks a lot worse. There's the Knights. A few around the ground at the Knights in terms of predictions, either getting a few people confident of a draw and a couple I was speaking to earlier, possibly a sneaky victory as well. And they're certainly in prime position as Reynolds just gets it past Callum on this occasion. Barnard with the chest. Now Bidwell charging into the box. Eddie Bidwell, back post, Fitzgerald! Well, the line lasted all of the minutes. Maxie Fitzgerald, he's taken the gloves off and he's scored another goal for his side. Talk about making amends. Eddie Bidwell, some would say, a little bit at fault for that first night's goal. That's the way to make up for it. Get the assist.
He's not looking after me here, Eddie Bidwell. He's not even giving me a chance to write up that last goal. I don't think he's happy that I tried to steal one off him last time I did one of their games, but that's definitely a nice cross there, and another one for the fan favourite in the chat, Max Fitzgerald.
Yeah, he really did throw you under the bus on that ball there. Maybe he didn't get that goal, but an instant reply from the Strikers. Potentially the wake-up call they needed. As the opposition goal as Giampoli now beats one. Toghill. Barnard. Giampoli. Onside. Giampoli's challenged in the box. And, well, I seem to be the only one getting excited about that challenge. Maybe it's the away game factor from Devonport there with the lack of appealing.
There's not too many Strikers fans here to argue, is there?
Well, they had a fair few come down on Monday to give them their dues. Hope they're tuning in up at Valley Road or elsewhere on the northwest coast.
Yeah, it's a big trip to make twice in a week, I think.
Yeah, it definitely is. Especially then when you've had it about 6 in a row, I think they're at the moment. As Smith exchange passes with Giampoli. The game slightly settling down after a mad 3 minutes. Goals were in pretty quick succession last night as well.
Yeah.
From memory, Kingborough.
Yeah, Gutierrez had his brace within about 2 minutes, and then the penalty for the Zebras 10 minutes later. So hopefully today will be a bit different. We'll keep seeing goals at this pace for the whole day.
Yeah, absolutely. As Fitzgerald wins his side a corner, throw in, a bit far away from the corner flag. Can't do anything with it on this occasion. Toghill. Out to Young. Bellini. We saw him on the ball plenty in that first 15. Haven't seen a lot of him in the last 10. Chavez battling away with Stone, and I think he's been done for the shirt ball on that occasion. Most recently out in Colorado, Gutierrez, Chavez. Hingston turned over. Mulroney sitting nice and deep, the centre back. Now Hingston looks up and tries to find Bidwell, nearly does James. Barnard, good header back from Tyler Harrison. Composed defending when you've got someone of the size and stature of the fox in the box breathing down your neck. And that header back to the keeper, not always the easiest to execute. Callum Brown exchanging passes with Harrison. Hingston, to be fair, probably did well just to knock that one out of play. Now it'll be James. He'll take the throw. Flick on by Young. Turned over to Stone. He's got a red wall in front of him, but manages to find a way through. Chavez with the nutmeg pass. Good ball from Brown just on the outstretched toe of Bellini. Pitchford wanted to put that in some space for Smith, but runs out of real estate. Just trying to earwig on James Sherman's instructions here at KG5. I think he's wanting Chavez just to push on a tad more. As there he is with the searching ball out towards the scorer, Brown. Missed by Park. He's in again. Brown! What a volley! Set up perfectly for the youngster. No keeper in the world is saving that with power like that. And the Knights have gone 2-1 in front.
I thought that first goal was a good finish from him. That one is just on another level altogether, really. As you say, he's only played a couple of games this year, and we can see what they've been missing now.
Yeah, the way that's set up for him, Park just misread it, and even that touch, they assume it's going to get there, and look at the power on that from Callum Brown. He almost didn't really want to celebrate it and then thought about it and went, geez, that's a pretty good goal. I should probably go to the fans for that one.
Yeah, I think he was right to celebrate that one, honestly. You'd have to enjoy those ones when you get them, I think.
Yeah, and this has been 27 minutes of what the Knights have been missing, and here he is again on the ball, beating two. Screaming for a foul is the Knights bench. It's Hingston. Back to Park. I'll tell you what, Max Fitzgerald, that game down at Kingborough, I was referencing before, really gave Noah Smithy Sharples a bit of a run that day. Callum Brown is giving Connor Park, who's got plenty of experience behind his belt, up at NPL level. And he's giving him the ring around so far in the first 28 minutes. It's Bidwell. Can't keep this one under control. And Backhouse, who's dropping deeper and deeper as the half goes on, finds Declan Brown. Fires it into the legs of Callum. We've seen his first touch before being great. Couldn't quite get that one under control. James Young. A little bit sloppy there, but the Knights will be more than happy to be in the lead so far. Park. Down the line to Barnard. This time, Declan backing into Barnard. Don't think the rest of the grandstand agrees with that decision on the Fox in the box. I think he did well just to manoeuvre his body between player and ball on that occasion, the experienced striker.
Yeah, I have to say, I had my head down in my laptop for that one, but just from the crowd reaction, I knew which way that foul was going pretty safely.
Yeah, that's certainly the case, and it seems like they're going to heed our advice, Dooley, and whip this one to the back post from the free kick. Worth it from Reynolds. Lofted ball into the 6-yard box. Nesta comes up to claim, bobbling around. Had to be cleared. I think he was expecting the referee to blow a foul on that occasion. There's Hingston. Safety first to Fitzgerald. Hits it to probably where he was most likely to be. As we have a look at that free again. Well, I think he's just genuinely got to the ball before Nesta got there. Might have been his own player slightly tunnelling him there. The Knights keeper. There's Toghill. Inadvertent flick on will find Backhouse. Look at the space for Brown. And he's in again. Callum Brown on the hat-trick. Callum Brown chinks onto the right. Heavy touch allows Pitchford to come out and claim. And he's not terribly happy with himself with that one, Callum Brown, but he managed to get inside. And another chance goes begging. It's Fitzgerald. Finds Hardwick. I admit, didn't quite see that handball, but Fitzgerald and Barnard called for that one immediately.
They seemed fairly certain on it, didn't they?
I don't know what you think, Dooley, but I think this really should have been a third for the Knights. It's probably an easier chance than some of the others he's had.
Yeah, I think it might be his easiest one, but that's not really saying a whole heap, is it? He could have taken the shot on the left, and even that cutback probably wasn't a bad call, but he just got a bit too much forward momentum rather than back behind him, and Pitchford doesn't need much of an opening to clean up balls like that, does he?
He's quick off his line is Nathan Pitchford. Whilst everyone was madly celebrating Issy Van Dorn's sealer the other night, Pitchford did show a great turn of pace in sprinting back from the 18-yard box. He had the right sprinter's technique going on there. He's got a good burst of pace on him, especially for a keeper. Does Pitchy. The Stone dinks this one towards Barnard with the flick on, off the post, cleared. Hardwick completely missed by Mulroney. Stone against Harrison. And another chance for the Strikers. The Fox in the box. Well, it's in his range, in front of that penalty spot. And it's come off the post. It's 2 off the post so far for the Strikers today. Stone will do well to get a yard of space. Back to Hingston. Well cleared from Brown. Hingston's he's only had a few injury concerns so far this season. I think it's been a foot injury of some kind keeping him out. But he's patrolling the pitch like the midfield general that he is today, covering plenty of turf. It's a throw in to Bidwell. Back to Stone. Stone, Bidwell, chest. James can't really make a challenge here. Bidwell wants to take them all on. Goes the back heel. Has he won the corner for his side? Yes, he has. There's an erroneous second ball has come onto the field. Bidwell maybe could have hit it when Harrison had really committed there, maybe with the left, as they've taken the corner quickly. Stone, Joel Stone, top of the 18. Barnard flicked over the top. Hardwick only as far as Jumpoli. You want to get on the right peg, Jumpoli. Finds Stone. Still 4 in the box for the Strikers. Good territorial patch here for the Strikers. Walter Plessner going full camouflage in the bush. I think that's him anyway. Yes, it is.
Oh, it's telling the shrubbery there, isn't it?
It's a nice little hiding spot there. I've not really thought about it. Viewing a game from there is Stone. Towards the back post, Hingston, over the top of his head, Mulroney. Dumped clear in the end by the Knights. That's certainly why he's more of a whiz with the camera than I am. It was a great setup on Cup final day. It was the women's match where it was a nice little beach tent installed on that bank. Wasn't a bad effort at all. It's Pitchford. Claims this one. Looks up. Decides he wants the short option. Reynolds. Fitzgerald and Barnard had peeled off well there together, but it'll be Iggy Jumpoli trying to find Fitzgerald. Barnard. Stone. I think he wanted to hit it first time, but the trapdoor shut. And now Toghill shuts it even further.
There's been 4 or 5 times like that where Joel Stone, you can see him, he's trying to find any angle to take a shot and he just hasn't quite gotten it yet.
Yeah, and that goal against here at KG5 about 4 weeks ago. Barnard nearly getting in there from 30-odd yards out against the Zebras it was. And you can see why he's a threat from outside the 18-yard box. Speaking of threats, Callum Brown decides not to take them on this occasion. James does well. Shouts of keep the ball from Sherman. He stumped it straight to the strikers. Bellini. Brown. Using that pace again. It's just going to skid off the AstroTurf here at KG5. And out for a goal kick. What's the shot count at the moment, Bill?
So we've got 6 shots for the Knights and 4 for the Strikers.
It seems about right. The last, particularly since the 15-minute mark, despite the fact Knights have got both their goals since then, territorially, I think the Strikers have had the better of it. That's surely a foul on Stone. It's both a trip and a push in the back.
Yeah, you can take your pick on that one, really.
Yeah. There's Park right in front of us here in the grandstand. Takes the free kick. Barnard wants it to feet. Gets it. Nice build up there from the Strikers. Stone. He's got 3 players in front of him, Joel Stone, and the third was Young, who clears. Strikers really looking to get their foot on the ball a little more as the half progresses. Stone. Don't think Joel Stone was terribly happy about that ball received at hip height there.
No, probably not the best spot for him, is it? You can understand if he didn't enjoy that one too much.
Just letting his frustrations out a tad. There's Park. Giampoli and Stone. Really working well together. And both of them want to challenge Stone from behind. James clears. Bellini. I'd probably give that, and the referee agrees. Reynolds just collecting the standing leg before getting the ball on that occasion. Harrison. Hardwick. Probably had a little more time there to find a teammate. Only found Dom Smith of the Strikers. Muscled off by Fitzgerald. Young does well to go back to Nesta, who, despite conceding a goal, hasn't had a real lot to do in terms of saves. I can think of one point-blank save he had to make. That's about it so far. Barnard wrestling with Harrison. Now Fitzgerald. Stone is in the amount of space he likes to be at the top of the 18-yard box. They don't go to him on this occasion. Hardwick manages to clear. Backhouse looks for Bellini, who manages to keep the ball in play there, but only to Fitzgerald. Then is forced to concede the throw-in. Now to Giampoli. Smith. It's really the furthest forward we've seen Dom Smith so far today. It's not quite in the same, not quite in the marauding fullback class. Barnard looked like he wanted that one, but they go to Stone. He'll do well to win a corner here, and instead he's conceded the throw-in. Toghill deep in his own half as there's going down to 7 minutes left of this first half. After a pretty free-flowing first 30 minutes, the tempo's weaned off a tad over the last 10 minutes. Stone wants to do something about that, but can't on this occasion. And Smith. Toghill getting a toe in. It was weird being here on a slightly quieter day compared to Monday. It was very, very loud.
Yeah, I have to say it was a bit of an adjustment being here last night in the freezing cold with a...
Was that surely a foul?
I'd say a much smaller crowd than Cup final day.
Yeah, certainly that triple header is becoming a real feature on the Tasmanian footballing calendar. And another thing that is a feature is Joel Stone's delivery, which we're about to see here after the foul by Jumpali. The crowd for the under-20s and women's game as well was really strong on Monday as well. It was a great day to be a part of here at KG5.
And 3 really good games as well in the end too to watch.
Absolute corkers, all of them, as Stone delivers this one towards the back post. Hingston's there, back into the box, cleared by James. Reynolds, rising high. Harrison, over the head of Chavez. Eventually cleared by Bellini. Brown turns around Bidwell, lovely, but he's well, didn't quite continue the run. Did Declan. And that one goes away to Fitzgerald. There's plenty of time on it. Stone's occupying that left wing position for the moment. Should retreat back now, Fitzgerald. Relieved of his defensive corner duties. Forward to Barnard, good flick on. Probably a little too much pace on it, but Fitzgerald forces Tokyo to concede the throw. Tom Smith creeping further forward as the game goes on, trying to put Declan Brown on the back foot. It's Giampoli, oh lovely nutmeg for Ignacio. Giampoli calls for in the back, still going. Giampoli's just missed it. Well, that nutmeg was absolutely delicious from the import. He just couldn't quite find the finish on this occasion.
Everything leading up to the shot deserved a goal, didn't it?
Oh, it was lovely.
Yeah.
From Giampoli. Got a bit scrappy there. He's been accused in some circles of exaggerating contact and other things, Giampoli. I thought he may have had a slight case there in the back.
Yeah, I was a little surprised when he didn't go down, because it looked like there was a fair bit of contact, but he powered through it and he almost made it pay.
I've seen them given, as maybe he just knew his reputation might slightly precede him. We certainly see that in the EPL, where certain players don't quite get the rub of the green on incidents like that. As the strikers, 3 minutes left in this half, trying to get back on level terms. Mulraney to Hingston. Park looks up. As Stone, good work from Park. It's a foul on Joel Stone. Advantage played by the referee, Brenton Copra. Chavez whiffs at it. Hardwick. Barnard. Fitzgerald. And this time the free kick is given. Fitzgerald runs away hobbling. I think that was studs right on the laces of the boot from Tolkill. And I've got to say, this is prime Joel Stone territory from the free kick. One of those little stingers on the top of the boot.
Yeah, he said that Nesta hadn't had too many saves to make, but I think he might have to be ready on this one.
I think you're right there. Fitzgerald also showing an interest. 5 in the wall certainly indicates the threat that the Knights are feeling at the moment. It's Stone and Fitzgerald over the ball. Joel Stone takes over the wall, top corner! Joel Stone with the magical free kick. He's hit that top bins. And that is the quality of Joel Stone. He's been on fire so far this season. And to be fair, I reckon that just about exceeds the one here the other week.
Yep, I think that's about as good as it gets from that spot. We said he'd been looking to shoot all afternoon, and from a free kick, nothing stopping him, and that's what happens.
Pick out your favourite free kick taker of all time, and that is as good as any of them. It's Beckham-esque, Ronaldo-esque. Take your pick. Joel Stone in the cork up. And a game, fantastic goals in it. That probably somehow is the best one of the match.
It's a tough call to make, isn't it, at this point?
I think the incoming June goal of the month competition. Could just be all of them from this game alone. That's another ball looking for Callum Brown. Reynolds, Stone, Bidwell in a good pocket of space, and he looks in that direction to Stone. Bit too much curl on it on this occasion. James, Mulroney. He's headed that about 45 metres as Kieran Mulroney. Such was the power on the head. Hingston. Back to the captain. Champoli's got space to turn here. Barnard charging forward. So is Fitzgerald. Lets it go. Barnard. Barnard! The Fox in the box. 2 in a minute for the Strikers. Huge celebration from the Fox. 3-2 Strikers. And they're probably deserving of at least just that from the territorial advantage they've had. Can't even keep up with the typing on the blog here, Kanduli.
I've got to say, I didn't even see that goal, so I'm glad we've got the replays here. I don't think I'm cut out to be doing this many things at once at this stage.
Yeah, it's, I'm with you there at doing only one thing at a time. Fox in the box, doing what he does best, coming up in that crucial moment to put his side in front. And Callum Brown, who's, well, could we have another goal this half? It frankly wouldn't surprise me at this stage, as Brown continuing his duel with Connor Park. Finds Declan, Bellini, Declan Brown this time. 2 more in the box, across, and Pitchford holds well. Always dicey with the defenders running back in on goals. And this game has opened up. If Jampoli can get past Chavez, he can't. What a tackle from the midfielder. And he's tripped about twice there. That's a fairly agricultural foul from Park. The whistle hadn't really been blown at that stage, so you can't really fault Park for continuing to play. That's a great challenge from behind from Chavez. Nipping at his heels twice there is Fitzgerald. Referee blows whistle about there. It's probably more bang average than I thought on the initial looking at it live.
It was definitely after the ball, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, he's got none of the ball in any instance, and all of Brown, maybe just leaving a little marker. As James has the last touch of a pulsating first half here at KG5, full of goals, full of skill, good tempo to the match as well. 5 goals in the first half is quite high by even NPL TAS standards. We're not short of goals here in this particular competition. And I don't know about you, Jagger, but I feel like this game could go anyway. Yeah,
we've had 5 goals, and I feel like we could have maybe even had another 5 in that half with the pace they were playing out early. Plenty to look forward to in the second half, I think.
Plenty indeed. We don't often have a goals package go this. Here's Bidwell. As Callum Brown. As Brown, we just look at the first goal. There's Callum Brown getting us the first one of the match. And the Knights with an immediate reply. Fitzgerald lurking at the back post. We saw a miss from a similar range last night as well. But Fitzgerald not doing, I think it was Brayton Allen missing from that area on the other far side. And then look at that first touch from Brown. The second's just as good, to be fair. He rifled that one home for 2-1. All about celebrating. Well deserved. Come back and shown he has not missed a beat in his Callum Brown. Now, Joel Stone's goal. What a finish that is. One of the best free kick takers in the competition. And he's done exceptionally well. And then, well, even a minute later, in a frenetic last 5 minutes or so in the half, Miles Barnard puts his team ahead. We'll show you that goal, and we'll get back to the commentary in about 10 minutes, as we just got offered one of those snags, and I am having one.
Yep, they must have heard us talking about them, I think.
Get a couple. Brown, sea of legs, eventually blocks that from Stone. Good tempo to start this one. Bidwell goes the chip towards the back post, off the post from Eddie Bidwell. Eventually cleared from Torres Backhouse. Now to Bellini. Bellini centres. Brown gets the touch to it. I think he's conceded the goal kick there. And yeah, I think he can. I really trying to call them Brown at all possible occasions. I got caught out a fair few times last year. The couple of championship games we did is Eddie Bidwell showing a bit of techers there in the middle of the park, and now Bellini going the nutmeg. Good through ball. In the end, through ball. In the end, finds Backhouse. Backhouse on the left foot. It's comfortable for Nathan Pitchford. Far is Fitzgerald. I'll say hacks down from Toghill there, just to be polite. Isn't the greatest. Culture ball out to Brown. Tries to take on Parks, but Brown with a shot could save Pitchford. He's at a very good height there. Wet area behind this end is Brown. Goes towards the near post. He's missed it. Tyler Harrison. Well, he's the aforementioned set piece. Go towards the back post. Harrison again rising high. Brown wanted to curl that one hard. Wants to play the return ball. In the box, streaming forward is Fitzgerald. It's in that direction. But Nesta just gets ahead. Oh, fall fortuitously to Jumpoli. Controls it well. Fitzgerald in the box. Fitzgerald could save Nesta. Another good sider for the opposition kick by James. Still got plenty of numbers back to the strikers. The Knights with a lovely nutmeg. On Easton down the roller coaster. Callum Brown take the corner towards the back post. Pitchford underneath it. Rises high to punch clear. Return. Flicked over the top. Bidwell stayed onside here. Eddie Bidwell to the Fox, but well cleared from Harrison. Does just enough instant to retrieve the ball for his side. Stone wants the free kick. He went down a tad easy. I think he's got time to size up and shoot here, Stone, but lays out to Bidwell. Fitzgerald lurking at the back post. Eddie Bidwell hits it straight at the keeper. Bidwell being forced to chase by Brown here, and he's got the ball. Callum Brady, too well to go himself. Brown against Bidwell. Left all. Barnard with the chest. Now Bidwell charging into the box. Eddie Bidwell. Back post. Fitzgerald! Well, the line lasted all of a minute. Actually, Fitzgerald, he's taken the gloves off and he's scored another goal for his side. Now beats one. Toghill. Barnard. Jumpoli. Onside. Jumpoli's challenged in the box. And, well, I seem to be the only one getting excited. There he is with the searching ball out towards the scorer. Brown. Missed by Park. He's in again. Brown! What a volley! Sat up perfectly for the youngster. No keeper in the world is saving that with power like that. And the Knights have gone 2-1 in front.
I thought that first goal was a good finish from him. That one is just...
This time, Declan backing into Barnard. Don't think that from Reynolds. Lofted ball into the 6-yard box. Nesta comes up to claim, bobbling around. Had to be cleared. I think he was expecting the rest. Look at the space for Brown. And he's in again. Callum Brown on the hat-trick. Callum Brown chinks onto the right. Heavy touch allows Pitchford to come out and claim. The Stone dinks this one towards Barnard with the flick on, off the post, cleared. Hardwick completely missed by Mulroney. Chest, James can't really make a challenge here. Bidwell wants to take them all on, goes the back heel. Has he won the corner for his side? Yes, he has. Both their goals since then. Territorially, I think the strikers have had the better of it. That's surely a foul on Stone. Really working well together. And both of them want to challenge Stone from behind. James clears. Bellini. Challenge Stone from behind. James clears. Bellini. I'd probably give that, and the referee agrees.
Being here last night in the freezing cold with a...
Was that surely a foul?
I'd say a much smaller crowd than Cup final day.
Yeah, certainly that triple hit was... Stone delivers this one towards the back post. Hingston's there, back into the box, cleared by James. Reynolds, rising high. Harrison, over the game goes on, trying to put Declan Brown on the back foot. There's Giampoli, oh lovely nutmeg for Ignacio. Giampoli calls for in the back, still going. Giampoli, Gerald over the ball. Joel Stone takes over the wall, top corner! Joel Stone with the magical free kick. He's hit that top bins, and that is the quality of Joel Stone. He's been on fire so far this season, and to be fair, I reckon that just about exceeds turn here. Barnard charging forward, so is Fitzgerald, lets it go. Barnard, the Fox in the box! 2 in a minute for the Strikers. Huge celebration from the Fox. 3-2 Strikers, and they're probably deserving, or at least it was opened up. If Giampoli can get past Chavez, he can't. What a tackle from the midfielder, and he's tripped about twice there. That's a fairly agricultural foul from Park.
Do we bring out the silver bins? Did you see that? Jono tapped me on the shoulder like you've got to take it further. You heard him that way. Coming from the club. Well, what's the plan? Let's not as much as the horror. The great yeah.
No, it's been but like around here. But she's only done it once.
And we are back for the second half of this NPL Tasmania match between Glenorchy Knights and the Devonport Strikers. 3-2 at half-time, a very high-scoring affair in that first half. Are you expecting the same for the second half, Dooley?
I think we have to with the standard that's been set there. It's hard to see either team trying to slow the pace down. They both seem pretty happy to keep attacking and looking for more goals. And in particular, Glenorchy, and now that they're chasing the game, you'd think it'll open up even more potentially.
Well, and they've got enough firepower on the bench as well. I mean, Heggy's more of a utility, but they've effectively got 4 strikers on the bench to the Knights here this afternoon, so they'll probably even be leaning towards a shootout. I think Coach James Sherman would want the defence to tighten up a little bit as we get underway here for the second half. Hingston's first act of the game is to knock it towards Bidwell. Turned over. Now it's Young to Bellini, who's playing up top for the Knights here this afternoon. Mulraney getting into nosebleed territory here is the centre-back to Fitzgerald. Resuming his battle with Toghill. Fitzgerald with the first shot of the half. It will fall into the grateful arms of Dimitri Nesta. Hardwick to Gutierrez Chavez. Toghill. Mulraney gets in front of Young, or Bellini, who's not committed the foul. Brenton Copper thought about it for a few seconds there. There's Toghill. Will take the throw. Hingston uses his body well. Barnard, the scorer of the Strikers' third. Cleared by Hardwick. Rising high is Connor Park, who's Callum Brown has run rings around him at times in that first half. Got a bit sturdier towards the end of the half, but that is one of the most interesting battles out there on the park, as well as Fitzgerald v Toghill. As Brown is on the ball, back to James. Reynolds will do well to knock it back to the defenders, and he does. Plenty of time for Mulraney. Barnard to Stone. Joel Stone running at the defence, dropping a step over, weaving one way then the other, but Gutierrez Chavez intercepts. Is Joel Stone wearing different boots? I'm convinced he had white boots on in that first half. Maybe it was just my eyes.
You're paying more attention to this game than me if you're picking up on the boots as well.
Going to take notice of the little things. And Fitzgerald back to Smith. Tom Smith now ripping out the skills. And the left back's getting involved here this afternoon. It's Nesta. Hingston always had front position on that occasion. Back to Pitchford. A bit more of a patient build-up here from the Strikers. They know they don't have to push on too much. They'd like another goal to make sure of their advantage as Fitzgerald gets on the ball eventually. The Knights quite convincing in defence on that occasion, as the ball will roll out for a goal kick, and we get a view of that wonderful barbecue that was indulged in by myself at half-time, raising money for the Glenorchy Knights under-10s team to go to the Croatian tournament at the end of the season. Always a good cause to support.
The big question is, did they have the barbecue sauce there?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
They had mustard, tomato sauce, onion, the full trimmings just about. And this one will fall to Callum Brown, running inside this time. A few more yellow shirts in front of him. Bellini goes to return ball. He was making the run around the back. It was Callum Brown. Now to Joel Stone. Gutierrez Chavez. And how Field play, he's done a fairly good job against Stone. I think that was the matchup predicted to occur in the middle of the park.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy matchup for anyone, is it, on Joel Stone?
No, because he likes to drift about, does Joel Stone. You don't really know where he's going to pop up at some points. But Chavez has covered good ground. Not necessarily man-marking him, but he's usually not too far away, especially when Stone wants to turn and run on goal. As Reynolds misses that one, and Park leads with the right. Fitzgerald probably should have tried to get that down first time. Gets his body. Oh, what a challenge from Toghill. And he gets clattered afterwards. Toghill just pushing Stone in the back for no reason whatsoever. Leading with the head, bit of chit-chat. Now going up against someone. That's got to be a cheat. You can't do that 3 times in the space of 5 seconds with the referee right there.
Every time I thought he was done, he just kept on going back at someone else, didn't he?
I mean, the first one, you know, you're trying to not intimidate, but you're trying to let your presence be known, and then just to keep going on a completely different player.
Yeah.
Really will give you a slice of cheese any day of the week.
There haven't been too many overly complicated calls for the referee here, and that might be the simplest one of the day so far.
Yeah, it probably will be, as well as that push in the back that happened, ironically, in a very similar spot early on. And I don't know, but they've stolen about 15 yards from this free kick.
It's moved a long way forward, hasn't it?
It was to the right of our wonderful cameraman, and it's now gone to the left as the ball swung into the box over the heads of the Strikers players, and Gutierrez Chavez will clear. Bidwell, heads clear. James, back to Bellini. Really dropping deep. Deep is the nominal number 9 for the Knights. It's a good switching ball. It'll find Toghill. Wants to try and turn around Fitzgerald and does so. Smith sliding in. Toghill still going. Good chip ball towards Declan Brown. Mulroney gets across to intercept. He's looked composed at the back tonight, has Kieran Mulroney. It takes a lot to put him under pressure. It's Toghill. No real clear-cut chances in the first 6 minutes of this second half. And Coughlin claiming that one well. Hingston eludes him, and Mulroney thumps clear. Fitzgerald wanted to keep it in. Back to Young. Not really able to get it out of this section of the field at the moment, are the Knights. They might do so here with that turn from Ryan. Falls to Young. Look at the space on the far side for Callum Brown. Running at Park. Brown jinking inside. Tried that trick again. And got a bit more backwards momentum on this occasion, but not the end product. As Reynolds and Hingston calmly deal with it. Bidwell, well, he's flicked it on to where he would have been, and Barnard said, I would have chested that. Not going to please. Devonport, match manager on the sideline, Nick Allen at all, that occurring right under his nose. It's Hardwick. Tolkien's in a good pocket of space, but chose not to turn that way. Still going is Hardwick. And I think he was predicting the run of Callum Brown.
He's quick, but he's not quite quick enough to get onto one like that, is he?
No, not quite. Brown. It's rare of him, not rare of him wanting the ball to feet, but you would imagine he'd make that run 7 or 8 times out of 10.
Yeah, it's those runs in behind that have been where he's been really dangerous so far today.
As Iggy Jumpoli tries to play the 1-2 with Stone. Hardwick gets a bit lucky with a deflection. It's a little bit scrappy coming out of the blocks in this second half. Not quite crispness of passing we saw in the first.
We're getting a bit too used to those silky skills in the first half, weren't we?
Yeah, certainly were. Hopefully it didn't all condense itself into the first half. As Hingston loses out on that occasion, and Gutierrez Chavez puts it out in front of Brown. Jinks inside, and Reynolds as the covering defender does really well and keeps going. Does Raph Reynolds. Barnard, look at the space Stone has if they get it to him. Oh, they were one pass away. Thomas Young cutting out what would have been a promising attack for the Strikers. It's now Bellini. Good run forward. Backhouse rolls through to Pitchford. He wants to get it started quickly. We didn't see Backhouse bombing on that much in the first half. It's James and Bidwell battling away. Oh, look at that bit of skill from Eddie Bidwell. Hingston. Now Brown. Very congested in that area. He's just going to run right around them all, just about, Callum Brown. Now Backhouse. Gets on the right foot. Backhouse with the shot, but Pitchford had a good line of sight for that one. It'll be Giampoli. Bidwell did very well to control that pass. Like a rocket to his boot. Park hasn't conceded the foul. Hardwick to Bellini. Dragging Mulroney out of that centre back position. Smith wisely going back to the keeper. Joel Stone appealing for it. Fitzgerald winning the header. Barnard, he can turn on it and lay the pass back to Fitzgerald. Cut out by Hardwick. Backhouse. It seems like he's been given a clear instruction to get on a little bit more in this second half. Starting to make runs beyond Bellini. But on this occasion it comes to naught. As it does get quite dark here at KG5 at the moment. We're all at 4:30.
I was going to say, it feels a lot later, doesn't it?
I guess winter solstice is next week, so probably should be expecting a bit of darkness at this time.
As long as it doesn't get too much colder than this, can't complain.
There's Barnard calling for the ball on the angled run. He'll get in front of Harrison. Got Stone as an option. Well, Stone sizing up his defender. I think he wanted to cross it, but saw there wasn't really anyone in the box. And it's good tracking back. And Declan Brown tries to lay it out towards Callum. Heavy touch to put it out in front. Running at Connor Park. Callum Brown returns it to Declan Brown. Wants to get onto his left peg. Well cut out from Mulroney. Manages to clear it away. Bidwell tries to knock it around James, but runs out of touchline before he can get to the ball. And the Knights, well, they've looked a bit sturdier in the back, would you say, Jacob?
Yeah, they definitely look to have settled a little bit in the back line, but still struggling here. I think Devonport might have done the same, so they're struggling to break down the strikers' defence and find much forward momentum.
Maybe both coach had a similar team talk, which was let's keep it at the back a bit sturdier. It's led to a little bit more of a defensive second half so far. As offside surely is Callum Brown. He'll appeal it, but I could see it from up here, let alone what the assistant referee on the near sideline.
Yeah, the referees have kept it straightforward, and I think that's another nice easy one for the linesman too.
Yeah, not had anything too difficult. As Pitchford will line up to take the free kick. Barnard creeping further and further forward, and it's not going to reach him. Probably expecting a little too much of his keeper there. He was young. Look at the space Callum Brown is affording in this second half. Gets him time to get those motors running. Runs at Park again. Goes to the left this time. Reynolds comes across with the slide. Park. To the feet of Barnard. Knocks it back to Stone. Fitzgerald's in a good pocket of space. He's straight offside temporarily. So they go to Bidwell. Fitzgerald in the box. Looks in that direction and well cleared from Toghill. Barnard was in front. Fitzgerald behind. And it'll be the striker's first corner of the second half. Done well on that occasion is Toghill. The only player on a slice of cheese, I believe.
Yep, yeah, first and only so far today, and he did pretty well to cover that one though. Good tracking back from the Knights player.
There's Stone wisely eschews the option of the short corner. Goes to the near post. Barnard with the strong header off the crossbar. Barnard. Well, let's be honest, not many other strikers in the state would be able to crown their head like that and get enough power to put it towards on goal. But Fox in the box is certainly one of them. As Nesta manages to clear. Hingston. Back to Eddie Bidwell. Strikers just imposing themselves on this game a little more. As Fitzgerald will now run at Toghill. Drops the step over. Gets it into the box. Fires it into Hardwick. And Toghill sliding in. Does well to prevent another attack. It's Tom Smith creeping forward. Not winning it on this occasion. He'll get another one. Takes it quickly to Jumpoli, who just couldn't control it on that occasion. Hingston uses his body well. Now Young. Probably put a little too much on that, but it might curl and stay in play. Brown on the very dark side of the ground, running at Park. Hits it. Oh, I thought he was going to hit it first time. Callum Brown went the pass to Backhouse, but Hingston read that one like a book. And Stone drops the shoulder. He'll do well to turn around Young, and does. Jumpoli's in a good pocket of space. Fitzgerald needs to get a little wider. Bidwell is where Stone should go, and he does. Eddie Bidwell against James. Forced inside is Bidwell. Running at the defence, Young does well. And they'll concede the corner. Yes, they will. It was Bidwell. Runs back to the centre of the park. There's the first substitution of the game. Will be made by the Knights. As Nick Naden is looking to come on. Just trying to see who's coming off. It looks like Ryan Backhouse is the player to make way. Naden will probably be a like-for-like swap. And maybe Bellini might drop into that centre attacking mid-roll. And Naden will go up top. We'll see once they finish their defensive duties as Reynolds whips it into the box. It's towards the back post and cleared away. Very similar across the last one in the Lakers Seljuk Cup final. Stone heaves that one forward for Barnard. Gets there first in front of the keeper. Can't quite put it into the gaping net that was afforded him. It's a good ball by Stone. He's not far away as the Fox in the box.
He's really starting to threaten, isn't he? That one's close. He's had one off the crossbar and looking like he could have a real impact here.
I think they're trying to use his head a bit more, it seems like, in this second half. Getting back to more how we see Devonport play on the road, especially that game out at South Hobart at the start of the season where he popped up for the winner. It was a bit more of a defensively assured performance from the strikers, and then they nipped one with Barnard. They do well to keep it that sort of game here. And Stone to Bidwell. Bidwell into the box. Over at the back post is Jumpoli. I don't think it'll stay in, but Toghill goes safety first. Hits it out for a corner. It's going to be his 7th corner of the match here today.
Yeah, and I think that reflects, as you said, the positional advantage they've had. They've had a lot better of the territory, but that is not the best corner you'll ever see. I think chalk that one up as another loss for the short corner there.
Yeah, look, that's a new stat I think we're going to have to introduce, is wasted short corners.
Yeah, that's one I feel very strongly about too, so I'm happy to start keeping track of that one, honestly.
Yeah, maybe we could subtly just start redoing the blog here as well when Andrew is away. We'll just completely change the whole setup. Bidwell running at the defence. Trying to find the feet of Barnard. A lot of red shirts in the way. They're letting Eddie Bidwell charge inside. I think the Knights are a bit concerned about what he can do when he hits the byline and gets the ball back, as we saw with Fitzgerald's goal. Just looking to cut that out a bit more in this half. Mulroney, Stone and Reynolds. Sounds like a good law firm, that, Stone and Reynolds.
Got a nice ring to it.
Ralph Reynolds Up to Jumpoli. And now Stone. Fitzgerald. Stone cutting inside. The lovely reverse ball. It's Barnard. And he's going to let that one run. Keeps possession. And Fitzgerald dancing around Toghill. Tries to go the byline. I think that's come off Fitzgerald last. Brendan Copper already had the arm out pointing for that one. Have a look on the replay. They certainly come off the heel of Fitzgerald. Another good call from the referee. Nest. Tyus Toghill imploring his team to push on. Quite an imposing figure with the beard, yelling out instructions. It's got a little quiet at the Knights' end of the ground. It's Jumpoli trying to lead a merry dance, but nearly sets him Brown, and he might get there first. Brown Pitchford just by a nanosecond, getting there first. The turn of pace, this time from Declan Brown, really on show. He started probably 2 or 3 metres in front of Smith, and has ended up a fair few in front. Fitzgerald tries to turn around Toghill. Toghill manages to win the throw-in for his side, so 65 minutes gone. We've seen the Knights make a substitution already. As Mulroney cuts that one out. Wouldn't it be time if the strikers will be thinking about a substitution? Toghill to Naden. Nick Naden trying to get on the ball a little more here. Deflected, and Pitchford will claim that one nice and easily. He's not really had a save in anger to make so far in the second half as Pitchford.
No, he's come off his line nicely to collect on a few long balls, which he always does well, but nothing particularly challenging so far.
It was Hingston. Probably Devonport's best beard, gives the ball away to Brown. Mulroney comes across. Stone. Just going to stand in front of that one. Look it back to Smith. I see Nowicki getting warmed up on the sideline for the Knights as well. It's Fitzgerald battling away with Toghill. Surely Toghill will win the foul on that occasion. The striker's bench not terribly happy about that one, but he clearly clipped Togsy.
He's been good here in this second half, Toghill. He's really stayed nice and solid at the back there.
Yeah, and we saw Fitzgerald get the better of him a couple of times in that first half. I can only really think of one sort of in this second half so far. He is on a slice of cheese though, so one mistake. He may get an upgrade on that. There's Nesta. Well, he's hit that straight to Fitzgerald. Max Fitzgerald dinks it inside. Barnard can line this one up through the palm of the keeper, headed away. Oh, they just about did enough there, the Knights. It was a foul committed far enough, or mistake by the keeper committed far enough up the field. He's probably got to be catching that one in the first instance. No harm caused for the Knights.
I think Barnard might have even had a bit more time to move in a bit closer there and get a little bit more momentum behind the shot, because he struggled to get much pace on it.
Well, he almost hit it from a stationary point. I mean, sometimes you want a little bit of roll on the ball to help generate a bit of power. He was under no pressure whatsoever. It's certainly been the strikers' best opportunity of the second half. Jumpoli given away to Bellini, who's been relatively absent so far in the second half as the magic man Bellini. Brown is cut inside. Now Naden. To Callum Brown, has Declan at the back post. Goes back to Naden, who shoots, but Pitchford had that one covered pretty comfortably again. All the shots from the Knights of late, not straight at the keeper. And the distance Pitchford gains there is good. Flick on from Barnard. Cleared to Jumpoli. Look at that touch out of the sky from Iggy Jumpoli. Unfortunately, commentator's curse coming in there, and he's not as good with the pass. Mulroney as far as Stone. Thought about going to Fitzgerald. Back to Young. Gutierrez Chavez. Callum Brown's in a good pocket of space, and he hits him. First touch isn't as good as he would have liked. 1-2 with Bellini on here. Bellini eschews the return. Back to Chavez. Now Young, who's in a good pop. He winds it up, Young. He's hit it on the bank on the full. There's Thomas Young. His eyes lit up on that occasion. You can tell he's not terribly happy with himself with that effort.
No, anytime you miss by that much, you've got to make it clear that you expect better from yourself, don't you?
You certainly do, as the Strikers will make their first substitution of the match. Jack Dance coming on. It's Ignacio Giampoli coming off. There's a hush descends around KG5 as we're nearly under solely artificial light here at the moment. Pitchford heaves that one in the Bidwell direction. Cut out by James. Forward by Park. Again, similar, we were praising Toghill before. Connor Park's done a little bit better job as well this half on Callum Brown.
Yeah, and that might be why we've really slowed down the pace here in the second half. Those key movers for both teams have been locked down a bit more.
And it seems like both defences are dropping a bit deeper as well, which allows players like Stone a bit more time on the ball. You want to try and cut on the right foot here, Will Stone. Oh, Fitzgerald's ended up with the box. Fitzgerald, Nesta coming out well to claim. A little bit of confusion in the box for the Knights. Keeper comes and sweeps well as Naden. Charging forward is the fresh legs of Naden up against the fresh legs of Dance. Goes inside, he's beaten 2, he's just about beaten 3. Nick Naden, oh, he's just misplaced the pass. It was a fantastic solo run from Naden.
Yeah, he said pre-game that he might feel a bit unlucky to not be starting, and it looks like he's out to prove a point here.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Dooley. And there's someone, as we mentioned, had to make way for the returning Brown, whichever one it may be this particular week, and it was Naden on this occasion. It was probably a toss-up between him and Bellini. Bellini got the start. It was Bidwell as Fitzgerald. Just onside, I believe. Fitzgerald. Max Fitzgerald to seal it. Good save, Nesta. Bidwell will come back to claim and then put out the don't argue on Brown. Back to Smith. That was a really good opportunity for Max Fitzgerald. Given the nature and goals of this game, it might have been slightly presumptuous of me to claim it as the sealer. But really should have put that one away, Maxie Fitzgerald. Giving him the double his play probably deserves so far as Dance. Back to Stone. Kingston sitting really deep at this stage and Stone stuck in a night sandwich. It's appealing that decision quite vociferously with Callum Brown. So we have a look at that chance again. He just held his run well, did Fitzgerald. Maybe struggled to get out of his feet a tad.
Yeah, the first touch was okay, but then he just looked like it bobbled off his other leg, and that took him a little bit too close to the keeper. Nesta
off his line, well, as well, the Knights are clearly indicating they want to have a sub here, and the assistant referee's arms must be getting very sore from holding the flag up in that position for that long. Doesn't seem like the centre referee's going to worry about it for the moment.
Oh, there we go.
There we go, right at the last possible second. The tension building from Brenton Copra. Maybe he was just looking for an excuse to add his usual 7 minutes of extra time.
Yeah, true.
That's the only theory I can think of is we'll now see Magic Man Alessandro Bellini come off. And Matt Nowicki coming off for a more physical presence at top for the Knights. We'll see if he can impose one of his usual challenges on an opponent as well to spark a bit of life into this game. A clean one, of course, was Stone. This one in the centre. Keeper comes out. Rising goes Mulroney off the post. Barnard with his double. The Fox in the box. Well, he was probably a little stiff not to start on Monday in the Cup final, and he's shown his coach why he should be starting 2 goals for the Fox. And that is probably game over. Mulroney, that's the 3rd time the Strikers have hit the post.
I was going to say it's 3 or 4 at least, but they finally had someone in position to clean up the rebound, and I think it's another well-deserved goal for Barnard there.
Yeah, no need to get the Fox task force out. The KG5 on this occasion. He's scored the double. And the Knights with all to play for here with 15 minutes to go. Hobart is currently lit up all red all around, but it'll take something special for the Knights to get their name up in lights as that one's out for a throw. Good challenge from Harrison, who in his defence I don't think has had a terribly bad game here this afternoon as Tyler Harrison, the captain. I've certainly seen teams concede 4 goals and centre-backs play a lot worse. Enjoying Callum Brown's strategy of just standing right in front of the throw-in taker. Some good dark arts work there. And there's the foul, funnily enough, committed by Matthew Nowicki before he gets a pass on the ball. He's already conceded a foul. Going into the back of Joel Stone. There's another substitution being made. They're coming thick and fast here this evening. It's Dom Smith coming off, and by process of elimination, I'm going to assume that's Toby Barton coming on, one of the newer players for the Strikers. I haven't quite got that face memorised, but it's certainly not the distinctive salad of Kynan West, who's the only other substitute on the bench. And Stone, only set-piece delivery before was a peach. His free kick in the first half was, what can he do here? Near post, rising high is Higston off the post. Well, the Knights have scored 4, and if it wasn't for the medal of the goals, they'd probably have about 7.
I think that is 5 off the woodwork now.
Just, I mean, terribly unlucky here the Strikers, which is odd to say of a team 2 goals in front. It's James. Callum Brown getting around Park and trying to jink inside. Good recovery. That's surely a foul, but advantage being played. Callum Brown running at the fence. Nowicki's in a good pocket of space. Matthew Nowicki for the instant reply, and it's saved eventually. Coming across was Barton in front of Mulroney. Nowicki just peeling off the centre-backs on that occasion. Not quite being able to get the Knights back within 1 goal. It's now Barnard. Lays it back to Bidwell. I want to get on the score sheet himself here, Eddie Bidwell, and he does! Bidwell with the 5th for the Strikers. Hadn't scored a goal for the Strikers in the NPL before the start of this season. He's come on strong with his move forward. After a great assist in the first half, gets himself on the score sheet.
Yeah, he's been another one who's played a really good game for the Strikers, and I think he deserved to get his name on the score sheet because he's set a lot up for them today, and a very nice finish there as well.
Yeah, he's been really, really good for the Strikers today, and indeed all season. Eddie Bidwell, there's no chance of us not giving him that goal on this occasion.
No, I'll make sure that one goes down for him right from the get-go. You won't have to tell me about it later.
Yeah, we've even put it on the screen as well, so no chance of not getting that one as the Knights look to make they're going to make a double substitution there for a second as we'll go back to live play. That's a foul from Dance. Sent his opposite number tumbling. It was Thomas Young went flying through the air. Sherman giving his team some more instructions, just hit a little more direct than normal. Do like a coach who continues to wear the playing boots whilst being manager. It's an aesthetic I can get around from the Sherman tank.
Just in case he has to give himself a late caller.
Yes, that really, with whatever the minimum is, 31 minutes to go whenever the team sheet needs to be, and 61. Just write your name at the bottom.
I have to say, having played against him once or twice this year in the lower leagues, he's definitely still good enough to be playing here.
And Samuel James over the free kick. James right into the wall. Declan Brown. Oh, he sent his teammate up the river a little there, and the strikers will look to break. Ever dangerous Bidwell. Stone. Barnard in a good pocket of space, but just one player too many to beat from Stone. He'll now track back. Naden. Stone. For a player you'd describe as a flair player. He doesn't mind getting stuck in, Stone. Good hustle there despite not winning on that occasion. It's now Gutierrez Chavez. And he's run himself into a corner there. And right in that area where that floodlight that the Glenorchy Council should probably get fixed ASAP would give a bit more illumination. Barton playing left back at this moment. He came on, I think, played centre mid out at Olympia from memory a few weeks ago. Toghill. Callum Brown fires it to the feet of Naden. Not the easiest to control. Hingston. Dance. Night substitute. Jake Stewart will be getting pretty cold here soon, but he'll now get an opportunity to come on. Just standing still there for about 2 or 3 minutes. Seems like Declan Brown will be the player to come off. So the substitution, he made Jake Stewart coming on. Another player for the Knights so far this season has impressed. They have a real glut in that sort of winger inside forward area, do the Knights. Plenty of options with both the Browns, Naden, Stewart, Bellini, Backhouse. And Thomas Bellini as well, played there earlier in the season as young. To Chavez. Trying to find Stewart, but not quite on the same wavelength with the substitute. Stone. Inside ball looking for Fitzgerald. Hardwick took a touch. Oh, return ball from Toghill sent him a little short as Barnard battling away. Stone. Space to run into Stone, but he'll want to get on the right peg. And Young knew that the entire time as the long ball towards Nowicki. Battling between the two centre halves. Stewart beaten out by Park. Naden gets his head up. Wants to have a shot, Nick Naden, but I think that was meant for the laces. And it's come off the inside of the boot. Harmlessly out for a goal kick.
I'm liking that the substitutes, especially for Glenorchy, look very keen to have a shot from out well outside. I think they saw the standard from the bench of the goals in the first half, and they're trying to top it, which you got to enjoy the effort.
Yeah, you've got to, and you've got to try and get yourself back in the starting 11. A good display off the bench will usually do that. And as Pitchford's not in a huge rush to take this one. Clear to Brown. Young. Leaves it towards Nowicki, who gets in front of Barton. Tried to go the nutmeg on Barton. Nowicki battling back as well. Ball down the channel, which Mulroney will try to see out. On his non-preferred left foot. Devonport looking to make their third and final substitution, but I think they'll wait for a more attacking position. Toghill heaves one into the 18-yard box. Mulroney clears to the top of the box and volleyed by Young. It's pretty much hit the exact same piece of grass he shot about 15 minutes ago did as well. He's
got to be close to finding the range, doesn't he?
If you keep trying, you'll eventually get one on target. It's not quite at the level of... there was the Zebras here about a month ago down at the KG5 end. Constantly hitting it over the bar. And it'll be an early spell here for Joel Stone. Another great performance from Stone. That free kick will be replayed over and over again. And for mine, it'll be up there as one of the goals in the season. Good to see former strikers, midfielder Geniminish Krusha watching on from Lithuania. Thank you for the fox and the box emojis. Red Cole and I or a few of us will still eventually get those T-shirts made, they would sell a treat.
It's a worldwide phenomenon now, isn't it?
It really is. Maybe after they can get on for the NPL title, maybe a new celebratory T-shirt, but that's being a bit presumptuous. Olympia and South Hobart still well in this one. But the Knights the Strikers are likely to go 5 points clear here this afternoon. The game just petering out a tad. Here is Mulroney to Young. And it's Fitzgerald. I think they're going to call him on handball. There are movements of Brendan Copper there seem to indicate more a plane coming in rather than helping me out with what that one was actually for.
Take a guess there.
Just do what I do best and take a guess and hope it's vaguely correct. It's Tog Hill battling away with Kynan West. Good hustle from the youngster. Callum Brown. Good challenge from Barton. Tog Hill. He just wanted to leave his foot in there on West, I think. And Brown. Again a handball. I think that one was a little more down his side on that occasion, but play's taken quickly. James goes back to Harrison. Harrison striding forward from centre back to Nowicki, who's not in the 18-yard box. We'll go towards Naden. Mulroney has the height advantage. Young this time. Yeah, he's consistent. It's Thomas Young.
I might have gone a bit further over even, honestly.
Yeah, certainly a little more loop to it than the other ones.
Yeah, definitely a little bit more height at its peak.
And it was a great shot off the tee. Had that night kind of swing you want. Unfortunately, we're not at the nearby Claremont Golf Club. We are KG5. Pitchford taking his time to take the goal kick. Toghill still imploring his team to push forward. High ball towards Barnard, over his head. Bidwell treads on the ball. Seems like West has gone towards left wing and Fitzgerald's come in centrally. Dance, a bit more of a holding midfielder than Jumpoli is. It was Bidwell into the centre of the box. West has just put it wide. Kynan West. West gets very close on goal. One of the shorter players on the pitch. We saw that didn't matter so much. The under-20 statewide cup final. And ghosting into that position was Kynan.
It's another great cross from Bidwell too. He just goes until the final whistle, doesn't he?
Yeah, his crosses today have been outstanding. Can't really think of one that's gone, aimlessly over the bar or one that's hit KGV house or anything like that. Pretty spot on. And it's Brown to Naden. Just seem to have lacked a bit more width in this second half of the Knights. It all seems to be happening a little more centrally. Their best play came when it was in these sort of areas as James tries to get around Bidwell.
Yeah, it was down the wings that they were really managing to break behind the defence, and it just hasn't even looked like happening in this second half, really.
It seems like they've all trying to play centrally as Nowicki has a shot, kept down, but off the backside of Mulroney. Just seems like all the wingers are trying to run inside on this occasion. Maybe that could be down to Devonport's good defence, or it's just how it's happened, but haven't quite seen that wing play in this second half. Nowicki did the challenge, looked at the referee, saw it wasn't given. It's Tog Hill to Naden. It's a shirt grab and a half there from Barton. Just about taking Jake Stewart's shirt off. James couldn't quite receive that one, and Harrison all the way back to the keeper. Only a couple of minutes left of regulation time, plus the to-be-determined Copra time. Harrison to Nesta. Good spell of possession here for the Knights. Possibly come a bit too little too late. It was Young. Goes to Tog Hill. Josh Young running at the defence, tries to loop one over in the Stewart direction. Too much on it. Mulroney sees that one out. Devonport looks likely to travel back up the Midland for the umpteenth time so far this season, with another 3 points under their belt.
It's a good thing they've been winning so often down here, otherwise there might be some long trips home, but I think they'll be pretty happy heading back up there after a win.
Yeah, definitely. And they've come unstuck twice since the Zebras in the league, and in the game on Monday as Nesta clears that one, but for the most part it's been pretty successful, their trips down south. And as we mentioned in pre-game, Valley Road's a bit of a fortress as Young. So the ball had just gone out of play by the looks of it before Young committed that foul. We're right in front of it, and I thought he kept it in.
Looked that way from up here, didn't it?
Whole of the ball. There's Nowicki using his strength against Mulroney. Over the head, Barton, Mulroney. Gutierrez Chavez. Nowicki holding the ball up well, what he does so well. Max charging in, giving Barnard chase. The Fox in the box, hits it first time right at Dimitri Nesta. Well, again, he probably had more time to run in on goal, did Barnard.
You could have almost taken that right up to the keeper there.
Yeah, probably didn't quite back him pace to go around the keeper, but certainly had time to take a touch. Reynolds snuffs that one out. On a hat-trick, of course. Here's Barnard. Searching ball looking for West. Little miss-slip there from Toghill. Comes back and clears. Gutierrez Chavez looking for some width, and Brownie's heavy touch lets in Park. And after the first half where Callum Brown got in behind the Strikers' defence on numerous occasions, I can probably think of one in this second half. And you always fancied if it was going to be a tightly contested contest that the Strikers would end up coming out the winners. As we have a look here, I guess Harrison was making pretty good ground there on the replay, I'll admit. Didn't quite see him tracking back with such urgency.
And it was a pretty well hit shot too, it just didn't quite go far enough either side of the keeper.
Yeah, with Nesta out that far, maybe the chip might have been the better option. Always hard to execute though. Easy to say from up here in the cheap seats. As we keep playing in stoppage time, West will take a fair effort to keep this one under. It'll stay in play. Kynan West has the opportunity to drop the shoulder. He can't beat Toghill. 8 corners now for the Strikers, and whilst we're, as we've determined, not big advocates of the short corner, probably in this occasion I'd let it slip.
Yeah, this is one where it might be the better move. Just really run down some clock here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good way to run down the clock, and that's just to not have anyone within 40 metres of taking the corner.
Surprised to see any jogging involved here. I thought it would be a nice slow walk out to get the ball.
I don't know how many cards Fitzgerald's on. I don't think he's on that many to be in trouble of a suspension or anything like that as he whips this one into the box, rising high. It was Jack Dance coming in. On this occasion, as Nesta sends Stewart a task. Park should get there first. Oh, I think he's cleared the creek with that one.
That's a freebie for someone in their backyard down there.
Hit the fence on the full, so luckily it's not quite in the neighbour's property, but a nice mission down the creek for someone at the end of the game. Guarantee you the Devonport match manager on that side won't be getting it.
He doesn't look too keen to head down there, does he?
It's Gutierrez Chavez has a shot and has kept that one in the confines of the park, but not in the back of the net. He's in good areas. Here's Gutierrez Chavez. As we're into 93.5 minutes played. And Pitchford with another goal kick. Referee has the whistle to the mouth and blows for full time as the referee. Devonport Strikers on another mission down the National Highway come away with a 5-2 victory over the Knights after a seesawing high-tempo first half. That second half was a bit more controlled. A more controlled game clearly favoured the Strikers on this occasion. 2 more goals, and that sees them victors here over the Glenorchy Knights. It was a good effort from the Knights, particularly early on, as we'll run through the goals again for you. Callum Brown getting in front of Bidwell, using his sheer pace to put the Knights 1-0 ahead, and the pre-match predictions of a possible upset to the Knights or a draw were looking on the cards. And then a minute later, Bidwell got his revenge dolly.
Yeah, just nicely chested on there down the wing. Rolled right across the defence without a foot in, and a nice easy finish in there. He looked dangerous all day, didn't he, Bidwell? And he was making things happen right from the start.
Yeah, it was obviously early on in the game, and he showed his prowess in crossing, did Bidwell. And speaking of prowess, that shot from Callum Brown, if the net wasn't there, that would have ended up over Grove Road. He hit it with such power. That put the Strikers back in front, but much like when they first scored, the Strikers a fairly immediate reply. And what a goal, probably the goal of the game, right in the top corner from Joel Stone. Pick that one out.
Don't think there's a goalkeeper in the world who could have saved that one, honestly.
You put 5 in the wall, and you just had to get it up and over. It was probably the perfect distance out, 22, 23 metres out. And then not long after, Barnard gets in behind Hardwick. It peeled off Harrison and fires that one home. Almost like the reverse Timmy Cahill kind of celebration. He's done a Jesus statue in Rio in front of the quarter flag as the Fox in the box. That was his first in the game, and that was the first half action. We get into the second. Mulroney off the post, and there's Barnard's second. One player for the Knights appealing for offside. Certainly think he stayed on that occasion. And then the absolute sealer coming from Eddie Bidwell. He deserved a goal. He was one of the best players on the park, along with Stone and Fitzgerald. That front three for the Strikers, I think, really made it. And probably, I reckon, really a well-deserved victory.
Yeah, I think so. I think the Knights would have fancied themselves in a shootout such as we had in the first half, but the Strikers were good enough and had enough class across the park to really slow down that tempo, get it back on their terms, and that's where they really excel, when they can play the game their way.
And it's the sign of a title-winning champion team, is being able to come on the road, control it, do what you can do. And that's exactly what the Strikers have done here. So we'll leave you, Paul Hunt, myself, and Jacob Dool. Thank you for tuning in to Slice of Cheese. We'll be back next week for more NPL action. Do join us then.